A local appliance store shuts down, stiffing a slew of customers.
Valley Appliance didn't go bankrupt. The management didn't leave town. In fact, the same management team has opened up a new store in a new location with a new name. WHNT News 19's Carrie Marchese is taking on that taking action investigation.
And we are hoping that we can help get some of these victims some of their money back, of course, as soon as possible. And you're about to hear a story here about Valley Appliance. And what it's about, essentially, is a hidden camera investigation where one appliance store is tarnishing their industry and burning customers.
It's been $8,000. Never received our appliances. Small claims court for $1,100 and no one appeared.
Still don't have a rebate that was promised to me.
I actually got my appliances 4 days ago and still nothing on rebates.
Got a check yesterday, took it directly to Valley Appliance Bank to cash it, and it was non-sufficient funds.
Still have not received our money.
The company all of these unsatisfied customers have issues with was once located right here in this empty building on University Drive in Huntsville. The Valley Appliance marquee still present. It looks as if the business has closed down and pulled out of town. That might have been easier for these consumers to swallow.
They've got away with robbing us.
Bradley Young had big plans for his new kitchen.
Refrigerator, microwave, nice bin hood. These are some of the amenities that we wanted to have in our kitchen.
A $5,000 investment in June of last year, plus the promise of rebates. The goods would never come from Valley Appliance. Bradley eventually forked out more money and bought them elsewhere. After weeks of tense conversations over the phone and in person with Valley Appliance employees, here's what he did get: a paper promise of a full refund by late November. That would hold no merit.
They really sold the local family-owned business and really close-knit. Everyone works for the same company in the family, and you find comfort in that.
This group calls it multi-layered lies.
Well, the guy you have talked to isn't here, he's never there, or we have to go find him. Oh, he may have went in the washroom. Oh, well, I guess he slipped out the back door.
You guys are all smiling, shaking your heads and nodding right now.
Same story. Yeah, same story.
Valley Appliance closed in late December, but concerned consumers say the same people have opened up a new store right here, 3607 South Memorial Parkway. Incorporation papers from the state of Alabama show a tweaked business name of Valley Home Center, Inc. Our Better Business Bureau says these two companies share a lot in common.
Our biggest focus right now is helping the people who've turned to us with their complaints. We are sending those to the address at Kitchens by Design, since the same principles are there, and hoping that rather than saying that they're out of business under the name Valley Appliance, that they will help these customers.
The customer on this day is WHNT News 19.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
How are we today?
I'm good.
What can I help you find?
Good for a refrigerator.
But our undercover producer has a hidden agenda and a hidden camera.
I was looking online, it's a family-owned business. Who is it that owns it?
It's owned by Max and Bromley.
While it appears Max and Bromley manages Kitchens by Design, records show James Bromley as the registered agent for the Kitchens by Design location. Peter, Tim, and Michael Turka are listed as board of directors. And check out their Valley Appliance paperwork from 2005. The Turka tie is plain to see.
Are you guys accredited with the Better Business Bureau?
We are in the process of getting accredited with them.
That could prove to be difficult for 38 reasons. We called Peter Turka several times, but his voicemail box was full.
And cannot accept new messages at this time.
We also called Kitchens by Design. I work for WHNT News 19. No response after 48 hours prompted this.
I'm looking for Peter or Tim Turka. What about James Bromley or Maxon Bromley?
They're my bosses, so.
This sales associate says his bosses aren't around. We wanted him to let his bosses know we've found a connection between Valley Appliance and Kitchens by Design.
We wanted to know what your association is with Valley Appliance.
I don't have anything to
You guys
say.
need to leave. You ain't got no problem over here. Come on, camera's out.
This man, seemingly unhappy with our presence, escorted us out. You're probably not going to see a dime of that money.
No.
Why'd you call us?
I'd like to see justice. I want to see satisfaction of justice.
More bluntly put,
We're going to
Jail
air.
time.
Jail time.
Absolutely, every single one of them.
Since we got involved and started asking questions, there have been several late-breaking developments. Adrian Day and Bradley Young both received money orders late this afternoon for the full amount of their refunds. The heirs have resubmitted their refund check, and it finally cleared. And Jerry and Elise, we're getting results, obviously, for some of these victims. And just in the last several days, I've received dozens of emails and complaints all about Valley Appliance.
So what should consumers watching this story do?
All right, well, the Better Business Bureau has been closely monitoring these two companies for some time, and the most important thing is to start there. If you've had an unsatisfactory dealing with Valley Appliance, you can call our Better Business Bureau WHNT News 19 Consumer Action Line first thing tomorrow morning. That local number is 256-850-0719, or you can call toll free at 1-866-94-BBB-19. And I will right now, one more time, extend my invitation for the management of Valley Appliance to come forward and tell your side of the story. Jerry and Elise, we promise to, of course, stay on top of this story and bring the folks, the viewers, any new developments as they come up.
All right. Carrie, thank you.
You bet.
this is our first good look at the men behind the business of Valley Appliance and Kitchens by Design. Peter and Tim Turka on the phone, looking awfully busy. It turns out they were. 24 hours after we shot this video at 3607 South Memorial Parkway, nothing is left on the showroom floor, and the store is locked.
The first that we knew that store opened was the first week of January, so it's been a very short period of time.
This is just the latest closure connected with the Turkas. Emptied out showrooms in different locations.
I'd like to see justice.
Small claims court for $1,100.
Still don't have a rebate that was promised to me.
Angry Valley Appliance customers recently shared their stories with WHNT News 19. That inspired dozens of others to open up and offer their unsatisfactory business dealings. Undelivered appliances, bounced refund checks, court cases, rebate promises, poor customer service, just to name a few. So what's going on now? We're taking action to find out.
We logged on to the Kitchens by Design website, and as you can see, the website is up and active, but the phone number listed
Sorry, your call could not be completed at this time.
no longer works. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Kitchens by Design is no longer in business.
We do know that we've had customers in the past that ordered items online, so it's not to say that the company couldn't continue on, with e-commerce.
Better Business Bureau President Michelle Mason says customers of Kitchens by Design need to speak up if they have any outstanding orders or unfulfilled purchases. And we urge Kitchens by Design management to do the very same. Speak up and tell your side of the story. Carrie Marchese, WHNT News 19.
Dreams of new appliances dashed when Tennessee Valley consumers coughed up big money and never got their goods.
WHNT News 19 exposed the questionable business practices of Valley Appliance in February. And since our original Taking Action investigation aired, we've discovered people who received what they paid for are now victims too. Owners Pete and Tim Turka once operated several Valley Appliance storefronts. They closed their Huntsville location in December of 2012, but WHNT News 19 soon discovered the owners were back in business under a new name and a new location. Not for long. Days after our initial investigation, that store shut down.
We are joined now by WHNT News 19's Chief Investigative Reporter Carrie Marchese, and the Valley Appliance stores are closed, but your case isn't.
And guys, you might remember we actually helped several customers actually get full refunds for appliances they never received. And in this WHNT News 19 Taking Action investigation, the stakes are even higher.
Here we are. We've worked hard all of our life, like you say. Paid for a house, you know, you think you're clear. And then all at once, this happens.
Margaret Hill is referring to this.
Margaret, this is Carrie Marchese with WHNT News 19. I have some unpleasant news for you.
Margaret and Lloyd recently learned a lien is placed against their home, and they had to learn about it from me. They're still in shock.
Oh no, not us. Surely we're in the clear, but we weren't. So we went to the courthouse, and sure enough, we did have a lien against our property.
The Hills were my first phone call. I had 6 left to make. The news was the same for everyone. A subcontractor out of Peachtree City, Georgia, claims to be jilted by Valley Appliance. Granite and Marble Warehouse says the Turcas never paid them for 7 installs in Morgan County. In this email exchange between Valley Appliance and the company, owner Peter Turca writes, "I am digging out of a hole." And since they weren't making good on a $15,000 debt, the Granite Company figured this was the only way to get paid.
We had no idea that we had a lien on our house.
If David Bird looks disgusted, it's because he is. Only unlike the others, he didn't hear about the lien from WHNT.
You're qualified, but we're not going to be able to continue until your lien on your house is taken off. And that's when we were, what lien?
His surprise phone call was from a loan officer. The Birds were trying to refinance their home. But until they paid this, $2,132 plus interest from an install back on April of 2011, refinancing or selling their home wasn't an option. It didn't take long for David to realize what Valley Appliance was up to.
Owing many suppliers, obviously, and having many people with liens put on their houses that they were totally unaware of because they didn't pay their bills.
David was forced to pay twice for these countertops, and his lien was eventually released. His calls to Valley Appliance ignored. Margaret and Lloyd's lien was for $946, but they couldn't wrap their minds around paying for it, since you can clearly see they already have.
Now we don't know whether to go ahead and pay it off because it's drawing interest every day.
That's when we decided to take action and uncovered yet another twist. We spoke with the Morgan County Probate Office and an attorney and discovered these liens weren't properly filed. That's why homeowners weren't notified.
In fact, they expired after 6 months, but these liens were still showing up on the homeowners' credit reports and potentially damaging their financial reputation.
And the source of their problems all lead back to here.
I just can't see how anybody could do that, you know, try to get or take somebody's money and do something else with it.
There needs to be justice here with these guys. They need to be taken to court and prosecuted.
I do want to point out the Peachtree, Georgia company is also a victim here because of the money they're out from botched Valley Appliance deals. And I explained to them that their liens weren't valid and that my goal here is to take action for the consumers right here in the Tennessee Valley. They're still right now considering their next steps.
Carrie, where does this investigation stand as far as law enforcement is concerned?
Well, Huntsville Police Department have had dozens and dozens of reports. They've compiled those investigations. They've then handed them off to the Madison County District Attorney. And right now they're working towards a grand jury indictment. And of course, we'll let you folks know if that happens.
And this business of property liens is tricky.
It's very tricky. And, you know, people are probably thinking, well, how do I know if I even have one? You know, and we don't want the folks at home watching this story to find out the way the folks in our story found out from us here at WHNT. You can head over, by the way, folks, to WHNT.com right now, and there you can find lots of information. And you can also find out on the status of your property, how to find out about it, and if you do have a lien, how to get rid of it.
All right. Carrie, thank you.
You bet.